Howdy folks, this is Checkers, and this is Dungeon Siege. Dungeon Siege 1, as a matter of fact. Hi there, Elfie, welcome to the stream. Hi there, Vin Fox, welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. I see you're saying you don't have much time, but yeah, I honestly can't even remember why I dug this up the other day. Although it is on sale on Steam right now for 97 cents. Actually, the entire series, Dungeon Siege 1 through 3, is on sale for like $2.99 or something. That's not paid promotion, that's just sort of an FYI thing for anyone interested. Hi there, Baron Black, welcome to the stream. So we're taking a look at Dungeon Siege. Or at least we're going to give it a whirl. If I recall correctly, Dungeon Siege is coming up on its maybe 18th birthday? Actually, it's considerably more sophisticated than Diablo. One of the things that makes this considerably more sophisticated than Diablo is there are no loading screens. The entire world, the entire continent is seamless. Aside from that, you can auto-loot. There are no classes. Your classes are based on what you use, sort of the way you might find in the Elder Scrolls. Speaking of the Elder Scrolls, if you listen to the music, you might also recognize, well, the fingerprints of a composer. One Jeremy Soule. So, at the moment, I'm using a sword, so my melee skill is improving. Ranged is already up at level 2. There is nature magic, which is the green, and combat magic, which is the orange. And we're not actually at the beginning of the game because, well, it took about an hour or so to get here. And I don't know how much I have left in me at the moment, as I have not really slept. But, all that being said, I really thought it was worth taking a look at Dungeon Siege and maybe exposing it to folks who have perhaps never been introduced to it. It is inspired by Diablo, of course, and Baldur's Gate, and other things, but again, what made it different, let's turn our tags back on so we can see things, was, like I said, the absolute seamlessness of the world and my death. Actually, that's going to require us to reload. Huh. Yeah, sure, let's do that. Now, if I only remembered, I actually went back even beyond the one I had thought. Well, let's just go to this one. So, here we are, a little bit further, same character. This is the single-player version of this. This is a dungeon that I opened by using this. So, as you can see, there are no loading screens. We just walk right in here. And we can walk right back out into the world. I don't think at this time, if I'm recalling correctly back to Diablo 2, Diablo 2 was still sprite-based. This is 3D-based. The folks who made this, Gas-Powered Games, were led by a fellow named Chris Taylor. And Chris sort of hit the scene with a company called Cave Dog and a real-time strategy game called Total Annihilation. which I think came out back in 1997 and was a really big deal. It was one of the first 3D real-time strategy games. I need to pay more attention to my health this time, especially with those skeletons. Unlike Diablo, this is not quite as forgiving. There we go. Oh, come on. I must not have any health potions. I do have health potions, but for some reason, we are not drinking them. There we go. Okay, back to skeletons. But a seamless world and use-based character generation are not the only things the game had going for it. If I can survive conscious and long enough to get through these crypts, I can show you what I mean. If not, I can kind of jump to it. Oh, there we go. Now he drank his potion. I wonder what that was all about. Can you not? Yeah, I can't drink on the move. It's been a while since I've played this. Oh, well, thank you, fairies. They gave us a little bit of extra health. Got some wolves over here we'll try and contend with. There we go. A little bit of drink. Come on. A lot of missing. But we're not very good with our sword. This is not an ARPG where you can just sort of level up instantaneously and quickly. You'll work for it, but you'll come away with a sense of accomplishment as well, I think. One of the... I think we can do it. I'll have to check once we get rid of this wolf. One of the cooler features is we do have it. 5 to 7. If we throw this mace on the ground and we switch to number 4, this is a nature-based magic spell called Transmute, and it transforms objects on the ground into gold. So if your bags are filled... Well, thank you, Elfie, so much for the shiny things. That's really kind of you. So in this particular ARPG, if you are overloaded with items you don't really want to carry around, you can't get back to the store, turn it to gold, put it in your pocket, and you are good to go. And that is still not one of the coolest things. We just auto-saved because these are the crypts. And here, again, you get to see that absolutely seamless... Oh, right. These guys, totally not impressed by my sword skills. Much more impressed with my dexterity-based bow. Yeah, there are secrets in this crypt. Secret rooms, secret tunnels, or passageways, doors, and the things. We'll see if I can actually find them. One of the cool things, I should mention this, multiplayer is a little challenging these days to get this to do, but it does exist, and you can play like over a LAN with it. One of the things I loved about the multiplayer, and I'll actually play the multiplayer solo, is you can generate a skeleton Like, your character can be undead. So you roam the world as a heroic skeleton. And I think that is really cool. Oh, that is a lot of those. Alright. Divinity Original Sin has some familiar aspects, aside from the mostly turn-based nature. But the big difference in this is, like I said, it's 18 years old. Of course, you can break items and get loot and things and stuff. But actually, much like Divinity Original Sin, there are more things that all of that can do. And one of the choices you can make with your character, right now I'm going to kind of lean on the bow, even though I was using the sword earlier. You can choose to use whatever you want. You want to use nature magic, combat magic, melee weapon, ranged weapon. That's entirely up to you. You can level them all up at once, or you can focus on one and really sort of make that your primary aspect. Let's take a look at that new bow. 6 to 12 slow versus 3 to 14 normal. I'll stay with the 3 to 14 normal. I like the faster speed a bit. But this game, you have to understand that to this point, to the if I recall correctly, and you know, sometimes that's suspect, this game came out in 2002. There were no games that didn't have loading screens in 2002, let alone something the size of this. And there are fast travel things, there are sort of these kind of hub plates that you can stand on and will traverse you across the world. And while they take time to do that, because they're fast traveling, they're literally carrying you across the world. Let's see. Oh, and that was trapped. A little bit of blood on the floor. But, so, you know, we're looking at an 18-year-old game with no loading screens. You know, you look at pretty much any other RPG, ARPG, they still have loading screens. This was not just advanced for the time, it's still pretty advanced. This guy's a little bit tougher than the ones we've met so far. One other difference, we don't actually have to keep clicking on him, although I keep forgetting that. I can just click on him once, and we will continue to fire. So a little less carpal tunnel going on there for your ARPG. But your level, if I recall correctly, is based on your highest individual skill, which I think right now is level 2 for the bow. So we're missing a lot. We're not doing a whole lot of damage. See, that won't fit in our kit at the moment, but we can grab it. 14 to 18 damage, but it requires an intelligence of 12. So you raise your dexterity by using a bow, you raise your strength by using a melee weapon, you raise your intelligence by using magic. Since I'm not doing that very much right now, we'll actually throw these down. I'm going to hang on to that, get rid of this, and we'll switch to our transmute. Practice a little nature magic and gather up some gold. Go back to our bow. It's a pretty clacky sound, the hitting the skeleton, at least to me. Let's take a look at our map. Our map is the level. We can move within the map. The technology in this game is honestly pretty slick. So, this is the door. That's a pretty obvious door. Here we have a slightly less obvious button that opens this side passage. There's a lever right there. We've got a gargoyle right here. Fall back. We can use this lever. So this Dungeon Siege is, you know, rewarding you not just for how fast can you kill the critters, but how well you can explore your environment. How much are you paying attention to what's going on? Which is also a really cool thing. Gather up some mana potions there. Is that? No, I thought that might be a chest. Okay. So, we got more gargoyles. And over on our right there, we've got a common hammer and a blunt dagger on the floor. So I just grabbed the gold and he automatically ran over to grab the hammer. If we grab the hammer, you see this door over here is now closing. This was weighted down by the hammer. If I can get it back, we can now pass through that door. So basically it's just showing you some of its mechanics. Like, okay, there are pressure plates in this game. You can use them to get through certain secrets. Or they may work as traps. Ah, there we've got some magical boots and another trap. Fireballs coming from the wall. We've got, where did they go? Healthy boots. Plus 15 to health. We'll grab those. We can throw that on the floor, throw that on the floor. Switch quick to our transmute. Make ourselves some gold. Oh, if you can stay long enough, if I can actually get us out of here, the coolest thing, one of the coolest things, I mean, it's so cool. It should be in Fallout. It should be in the Elder Scrolls. It should be in anything else. There is actually another sub... actually, come to think of it, we passed right by this lever as we were going this way. That's the door we were originally going to go through. If we hadn't come out, wouldn't have noticed that lever. So again, the game's showing us, hey, you know, it's worth going back a little bit to see what you might have missed. So let's roll down here real quick. And a little close. Come here, you. Okay, he's not getting away, but... Okay, he's down. We've got some crypts, we've got some skeletons, we've got some gargoyles. Not sure why he decided to turn away, but I'm not going to complain about it. Okay, he's down. We can just hit our loot key, grab the gold quick. Okay, check our crypts here. Okay. Another trap. There's another door going off somewhere else. And there go the fireball traps. Okay. Probably nothing in there, but we'll look anyway. Another trap. dodge that fireball, hopefully. Okay. So, I imagine this just closes those stairs. But fun to check anyway. Okay, let's see if we can get back on course here. So out through here. Oh, more fireball traps. Okay, we got the health, or the mana potion. Kick open this door, and there's an innocent little spell book. Interesting thing about the spell book, it is this right here. We can close it to the side. You can put all the spells you want. You can also pick up another spell book to release all the enemies ever, and then we'll talk about the spell book again in a minute. Now, we probably can lure these guys. Maybe, if we can kite them far enough. Yeah, we're gonna need to get rid of these, or they're just gonna harass us at range. I don't know if the skeletons will follow us quite as far. No, he's not going for it. I imagine it would work if we could get him far enough, though. One way to find out. No, he's not falling for it. That's okay. Worked out anyway. Whoa, hi there. You are right there, aren't you? Okay. So, the life of Eaton Stonebridge. So there are lore books, just like many other games. I think Ultima, actually, as far as I know, the Ultima series was the first to start the lore book thing. I'm not 100% sure. I think maybe Ultima 5 or Ultima 6. Okay. And there are heavy Ultima influences in this, well, and everything. We've got another secret room. Oh, hi! Come on. That's just... And their hit points are at the bottom center of the screen, so if I'm actually mousing over them, you can see how much health they have left. Give me a hammer, need a hammer. That's certainly a trap of some nature. But since you're working on a more limited time, let me cruise through here. Because this is not not a safe place. Oh, and skeletons too. Okay. 3 skeletons in the room. Left, right, and center, I think. Okay, and we got a new spell, Rage, which adds 1 to minimum melee damage and 1 to maximum melee damage at the expense of health. I think we can forego that. Let's swing over this way, pick off the guy on the right, while the guy on the left tries to sneak up on us. Gonna grab that gold. Okay. Lots of skeletons. We stop firing when they walk away. That's quite honorable, but not necessarily efficient. Oh, hi. Didn't notice you right around that corner. Come on, fall back. Okay, there we go. Don't have room for the staff. Alright, good. That certainly looks like it shoots fireballs. Gargoyles through there. We have just advanced to level 3 and ranged. There is a skeleton down there, so we might wonder how to get there. We can just click, and we will pathfind our little heart all the way over there. Which, of course, will create a problem when we run into the room filled with skeletons. But it's still cool that it'll do it. So this is an ARPG made by folks who have made one of the most advanced real-time strategy games. And it kind of shows in some ways, like the pathfinding. And if you notice, in the bottom right of the screen, we have things about engage and defend and a bunch of circles and dots all together. Those are our formation features. Because while we're playing right now just by ourselves, we can absolutely have a party. There's just an in particular party member that I really want to show you. That is the one that I think should be in Fallout and the Elder Scrolls and everything else. Okay, let's... Yeah, we don't really need to grab the gold, but we can anyway. There's our skeletons. All right. Come on there. There we go. Okay. Grab that. Swing around the corner. And find gargoyles and a skeleton. Oh, this one's a little different. Skeleton guard. Bit more health than his compatriots. You can see the arrows sticking in our friends there. One of the things that made their real-time strategy game Total Annihilation so interesting, aside from being, I think, if not the first, one of the first 3D RTSs, but when the units exploded, they actually really exploded. Their bits and pieces went all over the place. So we see a carry-through in the arrows sticking into our opponents here. Also, Total Annihilation is the first time I ever recognized the composer. Well, let's just say it's the first time I ever heard Jeremy Soul's compositions, and I remembered his name because when you lost a unit, there was a music that would play. And it was so sad. I actually felt bad that I'd lost units in a real-time strategy game. And that's pretty impressive. Alright. Now, I think we are actually getting close to the exit. All we have to do is survive. Which means I should not take skeletons to the face quite so much. Explosive powder. Combat magic spell. Let's grab that quick. Fall back. Okay, we got him. Grab his gold. Grab the health potion. Just to be on the safe side, let's throw a save game in there. So if you look in the upper left at my portrait there, in the first slot is our melee weapon, which is a gladius. It's almost ready to level. I could actually switch and maybe... It is really hard to hit these guys with this, those guys with the sword. The bow works so much better on them. But the skeleton we can probably get some good hits on. Maces might work better. That is probably worth checking out. Nah, maybe not. Defense 10 plus 5 health. We'll hang on to that. We could, of course, use our magic, convert it, and that to gold. Go back to... Actually, we're going to need our bow if we're as close to the exit as I think we are. Okay. Yeah, thanks for stopping by again. This will be up, I'm sure, later, and if you can catch it, the party member that I'm going to bring in before we close out is really worth a look, but I don't want to spoil the surprise for anybody. Alright. Thank you, though, so very much for stopping by the stream, and thank you all for being here. It's really great to see everybody. And thank you again, Elfie, for the shiny things. And this is our boss, I think. Yep, that's our boss right there. Shooting the lasers. Gonna need that health potion. And then we can focus fire on. I don't think I can move fast enough to get around the lasers, so we're just gonna have to sort of take it and return fire best we can. Seven, 6, 5, 2, and done. And now we have something we are definitely not going to just walk on by. This is actually a nice hand axe. Let's see if we can gather up some more space here. Here, we'll do it this way, maybe. Because that is a magic bow. 19 to 21 damage, but we need a dexterity of 13, and we are at 12. Okay, so we whacked the boss. We're back to Krug, which we haven't seen very many of these fellas except before the crypt. But here we have our first party member.
You are either a hero or the most spectacular fool I've ever had the good fortune to meet. Whoever you are, accept my thanks. I am the scribe Eulora. Another day forced to translate tomb markers for the Krug, and I'd have gone as mad as old Prince Edward. These thick-headed brutes barely understand fire. How can they have now mastered necromancy? This does not bode well, but I doubt we'll learn more here. I think there's an exit just to the east of here. Shall we travel together?
And we can take a look at Eulora. She is a cavalier. Strength, dexterity, and intelligence at 10. She's a 1 in everything but combat magic. We will say okay and accept.
My thanks. I did not cherish the thought of finding my way alone. Let's
Hey
make
there.
haste.
Hotsy Totsy, welcome to the stream, and thank you so much for the shiny things. So, now we are a party of 2, and I think, as you'll notice, when we use things, whoever's closest, you will do it. Adventurer's Handbook, so we can select a single party member, we can group select, basically just like you would expect. Now, we've got a couple of things to open over here. And that was a nice handy autosave, because there are things out here that will eat us alive if we're not careful. Ah, wait. I did not actually give Laura anything to do. Let's see what we have. We have a bit of combat magic. Let's give her that. And the spell book we never got back to. So one of the things you can do with your spell book is just swap them out on the fly. So you could have one spell book set with one set of spells and another with another. But we're going to give you, Laura, this one, and then put that in. So she'll use combat magic, and we'll use our bow. Okay. More wolves. Alright, and let's see. Laura here has a cap. We can put that on her. Do we have anything else that might help her? Not that I can see. Okay. So, let's move on. There's actually an enemy over here that would take us quite a while to beat, and has a high potential of killing us, but really doesn't have any loot to make it worth it. What I really... Good morning, Raul! Welcome to the stream! Uh-oh. I walked right into that. We are taking a look here at Dungeon Siege. This is a game that released in April, I believe, of 2002, so just about legal. He's not your average Krug. I was not paying attention. So my inventory is pretty full up, but now that we have Eulora with us, she'll be happy to pick things up for us. We share the load. And you can see here now in Eulora's portrait, she's got combat magic in her 3rd slot, and she's about halfway to her, I believe, 1st level in combat magic. So if you're just joining us now, and you're wondering why this 18-year-old action role-playing game has no loading screens. It is one seamless continent. And it is vast. You may have noticed we just walked out of a dungeon. No loading screen. Walk in them. Even the fast travel actually just fast travels you. It is not an actual loading screen. Come on, Eulora, you're getting a little beat up there. Let's get her. She does not have healing potions. That's why she's not using them. Bad checkers, no treat. There we go. Nope, nope, too close, too close. There we go. Also has auto loot. So just push the loot key and they'll run right on over and grab anything that's within their sight. If it's out of their line of sight, you kind of have to guide them over to it. And, well, it's going to really be hard to see with two people, but these are the formations we can choose for our party. And we'll stick with this sort of broadside formation for the moment. Oh, right. These guys are tougher. Yeah, that's the whole I haven't slept yet thing. Drink and run, checkers. Drink and run. There we go. Okay. Alright, doggy down. And here we have what? Some formations are better suited for different situations. You might need a small, tight formation to maneuver through narrow passages, say like in the crypts. To cycle through different formations, press and hold the right mouse button and then left click. To adjust formation spacing, press and hold the right mouse button and then rotate the mouse wheel. To adjust the formation orientation, press and hold the right mouse button and then move the mouse left or right. So you're seeing those tactical routes there. Basically the way, if you've ever played Total War, the way they orient troops. Or Cossacks also. I think actually Cossacks did it before Total War, but anyway. Come on, guys. Nope. Time to go. Elora just got level 1 in combat magic. Somebody's resurrecting the dead back there. These guys are actually trying to, well, a couple of them are trying to hit us with their dinner. They're using actual drumsticks, meat drumsticks as weapons. That right there. Neat. Fast attack speed, damage 1 to 2. Alright. Now. Rock Club, Fire Poker. This is the fella who is resin people. Let's put an end to that. Grab up all the goodies. So another thing, if you haven't, if you're just joining, that we can do is, say, pick up things that we just don't want to carry or we don't want to spend the inventory space on. And we can switch to a spell called Transmute and convert them to gold on the fly. Go back to our regular weapons. Go back to our regularly scheduled weapons. Release all the things. And go back to combat. Kill bugs and krugs and wolves. Oh my. Okay. Oh, and Laura doesn't have mana, so I just hit the drink potion button, and the way it works right now, Elora needs health. So if I ask her to drink a health potion, she doesn't have any yet. So if I give her some quick and ask her to drink, you'll notice she does, but our character Morris here does not. So they'll only drink what they need, and they'll only drink what they need of it. I don't see anyone particularly with that at the moment, but you'll notice occasionally as we dip in here that these potions aren't being entirely used. They'll only use so much as they need to heal. We'll swing up here. There's a mini boss kind of fella up here we can deal with. And I think we're getting close to what I really for me, is just terribly exciting. Well, if you've watched me do much, you'll understand why I'm so excited about it when you see it. Let's drink that potion for Laura. And continue fire on this shaman. Oh, stop resin the dead. Shaman's almost down. 5-4. Getting Laura a drink. Okay, so as you can see here, Laura's got this potion about 3/4 down, but she's got, what is that, 68 health left in it. We can grab this Rip Mana spell and all the other goodies with our auto loot check. The chest. Mage leather. What is mage leather? Defense 10. Laura's is defense 16. Oh, but this one's better for her. So studded leather. Defense 19. And of course the model changes also. Oops. Back this way, Laura. Oh, right. So, you know, I could thread down this entire structure again, or I can just try and find the floor outside, point at it, click, and they will happily navigate without my input. Which, you know, for spiral structures like this, really handy. Okay, so let's pass dinner. Head down this way. Oh, let's fall back, guys. Okay, this guy's a little tougher. Okay, we'll get Laura a drink and move right along. Alright. So, you know, we're like level 2. We have not done much of anything. We've hardly scratched anything. And even when the stream started, we were about an hour already into the game. So this is not a fast leveling, you know, race to level 80 kind of experience. And if you weren't around when we were doing the crypts, there are secrets and secret levels that really pay off if you pay attention to your environment. There were, and well, there still are a lot of incredibly cool features to this action role-playing game that still, in many ways, make it ahead of its time. Oh, Laura's out of mana, so we just hit our mana potion key and she drinks. Morris doesn't. We can probably take the hits to the face for this and move on. Alright, now we're rolling on down. And we're going to fall right back on up. Oh, Laura's up. No. Morris is advanced to level 4 in range. That's a good thing. Okay. So if we look at Checkers now, we can see that he's considered freelance. Strength 11, Dexterity 12, Intelligence 10. So Strength goes up with melee weapons, Dexterity goes up with ranged, Intelligence goes up with magic, He's level 1 in melee, nature, and combat, level 4 in ranged. Ulora is 1 across the board and 10 across the board for her stats. Yep. Everybody together. Alright. Now we've got to trap a bug. Break it loose and then break it. Some barrels and boxes that you can break like that are still trapped. But if you kind of dodge to the side after you crack them, you can avoid the trap. They will auto-respond to attacks, so you don't have to actually click on everything. There's a lot of carpal tunnel saving in this game. We only click once on a given enemy, and they will continue fire until the enemy is dead, or we give them another order. Drink our health potion, drink a mana potion for Ulora. Alright, and we've got a crusted gladius. We'll grab that, get a health potion for checkers. Okay. Got another mini boss in this area up here. Oh, right. Okay. Fireballs. Okay. Fire shot's a combat magic spell. It's what Elora is actually using right now. Okay, drink up. You can see the fellow with the kind of glowing halo in the upper left there. That's our mini boss. Well, it looks like we've got his attention now, and this slightly tougher guy. .56 health on this fella. See our arrows already plastered into his chest. Down to 31 health. $17. 12, 9. Oh. 2, and what do we got here? Kronhar's Buckler. Okay, so it looks like we don't have room for that. Actually, it looks like we should. There we go. Defense 5, Strength 13. Okay. Leave the rest on the ground. Roll through here. Nope. Come on, Alora. Okay, so... Okay, finally got one down. Come on, guys, run around the sign. Open fire. Oh, Alora's out of mana. Somebody's. There we go. One more. Okay. Grab another potion. Run up the hill. We should be able to actually hold these guys. There was a trap we just dodged. Come on, Alora. Okay. There was one more. Maybe we got lucky. Oh, you guys. May as well grab that gold while we're here. Nope, nope, that's not it. There we go. And there we go. Okay, now all we've got to do just a little further, I think. Okay, Shaman down, another fire shot spell. Get Elora some more blue drink. Okay. And Adventurer's Handbook. Further information about stats, skills, combat, and spells can be found in this handbook. Although this handbook will no longer pop up with reminders and tips, you can open the handbook at any time by pressing F12. And there it warns us again. And we can also take a screenshot. Okay. Oh, we lost Delora there.
With only a name given by a dying friend, our beleaguered hero entered the battle-worn gates of Stonebridge. Who could know then that the arrival of one humble farmer from the fields would change the very course of the kingdom?
Alrighty. We made it. Stonebridge at last. Now, we can also do other things like talk to the locals.
If you come looking for help, you'll not get much here. What the Krug couldn't carry off in a wagon, they smashed up or burned. They even put Gravemaker, my blessed old catapult, to the torch, even though that beauty hasn't thrown a stone since I was a pup. It don't take a wizard to smell the goblins behind this Krug raid, but the Overseer of Glacier needs to be told what happened here nonetheless. If you're up for the task, can I come along?
Sure. Let's bring him along.
I knew you'd be the right sort for this trek. Well met, friend.
Alrighty. And now we're 3. And we can take a look at Georn. And equip his shield and a mace. And you know what? He could probably use some armor. Let's give him that 16 armor. Swap that out for his 11. And there we go. There's our group as they stand at the moment. Now let's meet that party member I've been gushing on about for so long. Shall we? Because, my friends, this is cool. This is oh so cool. We just need to kind of pop this here door. Pop right on out here and talk to this fella.
You ask me? We should have run the bastards out of these hills when we settled here. All those dung-eaters left me were a pair of jacks and a half-lame mare. The jacks I can part with for a price, though not for half as much as I could have a week ago. You interested?
You know what? I would be really interested in buying a pack mule. A pack mule with an inventory that looks like that. So before we get carried away, there is our pack mule. Let's kind of wander on out here. Now, lest you think our pack mule is just roving inventory, our little pack mule here will also get involved in the combats, if I recall correctly. But what it will also do is allow, players who are a lot like me, who hold on to everything, to hold on to a whole lot more. And wonderfully enough, she'll even wander into the inn with us. Hi there, Oriana. Welcome to the stream. This is Dungeon Siege, one of still, I think, the most advanced action role-playing games ever made. It has no loading screens. Your class is based entirely on what you do. In other words, you don't pick a class when you create your character. You just do things, much like the Elder Scrolls in some ways. You use a bow, you get ranged skill, and you improve your dexterity. The whole 3 stats things, that's a very, very Ultima, actually. Yeah. And we can do cool things like, say we weren't in the middle of town and we had a whole bunch of gear that we could not get rid of, couldn't sell, didn't want to exactly leave it behind, there is a spell called Transmute that we can use to turn into gold and then collect up off the ground. So we never really have to waste anything. And even the potions that we drink, we don't drink them all. You can see here Ulora has a small health potion with 11 hit points left in it. But, you know, some of the coolest technology really is, I think, the no loading screens, because whether you were playing Baldur's Gate a few years earlier and switching around 8 CDs worth of game, or just waiting for, say, Diablo's loading screens or whoever's loading screens, this did away with all of that. And it's honestly really incredible. And this is Dungeon Siege. Oh, now we actually have a few party members. We can actually start playing with formations. We can cycle just by holding down the right mouse button and left clicking to choose different formations. And then hold that right mouse button down to reorient our party for combat. Good stuff. An amazing game. And not to, you know, this is certainly not a paid promotion for anybody, but this game is currently on sale on Steam for 97 cents. You can actually buy the entire series, Dungeon Siege 1 through 3, for I think $2.99 right now, which is a screaming deal. Dungeon Siege 2 actually took the whole pack mule thing and ran with it, and there are pets that will improve and I think also be involved in combat in a much more active way. Not to say the pack mule isn't active, but that pack mule can save your life. Yeah, this is Dungeon Siege, and I haven't slept yet from the previous day, so I think I am going to call it a day, night, what have you. One of the things I should also mention, I think I talked about this earlier, is this is your spell book. Basically right here, this book, and it can be swapped out for another spell book. So you could have spells that you wanted in the first couple of slots in one book, and then you could immediately switch out to another book and have an entire different loadout of spells ready. All around, just an amazing game. Oh, and the multiplayer, well, this is 1920 by 1080. That took a simple command line enter in Steam to achieve. There's also a way to get the multiplayer working, and what made the multiplayer stand apart for me, personally, I like the undead. You can roll up a skeleton in multiplayer and still play on a LAN as a skeleton, or, you know, play by yourself in multiplayer. Anyway, I want to thank you all so much for stopping by and checking out Dungeon Siege with me, and thank you so much to Elfie and to Hotsy Totsy for the shiny things. Thank you guys so much. That's really so very kind of you. I hope you all had fun, and yeah, there are some other things coming up this week that I keenly have my eye on, though I also probably wouldn't be sad to do this again. Anyway, yeah, alrighty guys, I'm kind of getting a little loopy, so you guys have a great day, great weekend, you stay safe, and take care of yourselves.